Yes, today we're joined by Glen's Vodka Scottish League 1 manager of the month for April, James McPAKE. The second sexiest Dunfermline manager of all time.
Behind Big Leash. I've got to concede that. I'm happy being second if you're
You still smell him about the office?
Oh, he's there all the time.
Congratulations on the league as well, mate.
No, cheers, mate. It's, I think, going back to the 7th of March, I think it was, when we beat Falkirk at home with a big crowd and stuff. That was kind of the night. We'd never have conceded it or said it, and we didn't, but that was probably the big result that made it probably wouldn't have been sitting here. If we hadn't won it in that position after beating them that night, then I think I'd have been back unemployed. So no, that was a big result of the season. Of course, there's been loads of stuff, but no, it's been a good season. It's first time I've ever won anything. Obviously, we went up through the playoffs with Dundee.
Close to Dundee, was it, right?
Aye, so up through them, but no, it was good to finally win something. 23 years in football and first thing I've won. So.
Is it, mate? Mm-hmm. Wow. Is it? And you were saying that the boys were practicing lifting the trophy with Dave Mackay's ears?
Aye, they were, aye. There's a few in there, Dave's. Aye.
Gowser's got a set of lugs on him.
He has as well, aye. But to be fair, it was tough because they were trying to practice lifting the trophy, but the two of them are that heavy. It's hard to lift him or Gowser up. So
how good is it that you've done that with your pals? Because Dave Mackay is obviously he's your friend, isn't he? First and foremost, Harry, he's your brother-in-law. Guys like Gowser, Kyle Benedictus, Craig Whiting that you've played with. Does that make it a wee bit more special as well?
Nah. Probably with the history with them, it does, and you know them. But I think when it becomes work and when you go in, like I have more fallouts with Dave than I do with Dawn. So it's like.
No one day didn't fall out with Dawn, she's gorgeous.
Right, that's £50 all you for getting you to say that. She'll be pleased with that. No, it is, and even with Harty. Like Harty was at Dundee with us since we had the under-18s. So no, it's important that you're close with them and you trust them, but also it's important that they can challenge you and you have those fallouts. Otherwise, it would just be, and even with Gowser, like bringing him in, and I'm not close with Gowser, but the amount of fallouts I've had with him, whether it when I was a player training or whether it's been a manager, but just that's part and parcel of it on this side. You'll have experienced it this year as well, and you've got to get in and be yourself. And at the end of the day, it is always work. I know you're about to say it gets dark, I know that, but it is always work.
Gowser, he was only in for what, a month? He never fell out with people in a month, did he?
No, February he came in. February loan window. No, 2 days it took him. Aye.
So quiet for 2 days?
Well, I didn't want him to be quiet because it was an important time in the season, and we wanted him in. First and foremost, he's a really good footballer, we know that, in training and in games. But he's got standards, he's got demands, we all know that as well when you've worked with him. And I says to him, just go in, we're in a bit of a situation here where a lot of people hadn't been, me included, at the top of a league, and it's a good pressure, put it that way. But no, so I says to him, I need to get in and just be the Dundee Paul McGowan, be the natural one. He says, no, I need to get to know the boys and stuff. I says, right, fair enough. I think it was the second training session. The arms are going up, he's screaming and shouting. While training's going on, and he's still screaming and shouting out his shoulder, but he's got the ball. He's the best player I've ever seen that can shout and keep the ball.
But the good thing is he's not been lifted yet, so he's changed a wee bit.
Well, that's been a positive. Even when I was a manager at Dundee, we escaped without him getting lifted, and when he came to Dunfermline, he's been pretty good. So no,
you're the man for him, aren't you?
I'm pleased for him. Aye.
Mate, what age are you?
Me? 38. I don't
38, mate.
look older.
No, you look great. 2 promotions at 38. Breeze this managerial game, mate.
No, I think it's 151 games. Somebody made me aware of that the other day, and it feels like a lot more than that, put it that way. And you'll be able to realise with that.
Never again.
I don't say that. Don't say that. No, look, it's been great this season in particular. As I said, winning the league, and I don't care what level people say it is. To win a league is fantastic. I now know because I'd never done it, but we had a wee chat with the players. I think the night we could have won it in Peterhead. Obviously, results elsewhere dictated, but just we had to go and enjoy it because I think they were free. In the full group, including the staff. Gowser was one of them, Benedictus one of them, and Joe Chalmers, that had won a league. So when you think there were maybe 35 people at the pre-match or 40 people at the pre-match, and only 3 of them had won a league, Mo Mo the Kitman had won it at Dunfermline before, so it's not a lot, so it was special, and to go and do that over the course of a season, then it's meant a lot. And obviously the playoff one with Dundee was special as well, but I'm only talking now because I'm at Dunfermline, but no, it's been a good season.
Just on that, how obviously you had won the league, how did it feel sitting watching that Dundee team go up as well? Because a lot of them were your players, and a lot you actually brought through the youth team. Was it over the moon, or was there a wee bit of...
No, genuinely, and I would tell you the truth. I was delighted, and particularly for what you said there. Like when you look on the night, Jakubiak scored, Ashcroft scored, Cameron scored, Luke McCowan scored, and Robinson scored as well. So I can't take any credit whatsoever for him, but cause he's a good player. But the other four, and you're right, the younger ones, it was great. Josh Mulligan winning the league, Lyle Cameron getting in the PFA team of the season. It's fantastic. And I said when I lost my job there that my biggest achievement, even above the promotion, was seeing these kids come through, because we just spoke about, me and Harty had them in the youth team when they were 14, gave them their debuts, and to see them go and do well, that feels really good. And the club, like, there's still a lot of people there at that club that I've got a lot of time for, so no, I was delighted to get promoted.
Specky.
Oh, what a man. I don't know what his job title is now, but he does everything. Yeah. So I think he was organising the drink run and
sniffing the pants.
Aye,
seen him doing that.
He does that now. Aye, to be fair, he says it. No, he enjoys it. So just
let him get on that. I was going to say as well, because the last time you were on, the one thing I took for the interview when you were on was obviously how hard times had been for you. When you go and win that league with Dunfermline, does that make all the hard times worthwhile?
It doesn't. But there'll be hard times to come, and I don't want to sit and name drop, but I'll know just for...
No, go there,
the person will be getting fed up with me talking about him, and then the next thing you know, it goes in the papers and all that stuff. But I met a manager.
Ange.
Yeah. So, well, you said it, not me. And he was great. He said something, and I don't mind copying and saying it was his idea, but I was just speaking away to him, and I've probably been lucky because when I lost my job at Dundee, I went for surgery, got COVID, couldn't get the surgery, so I had 7 weeks off, which I'd done a bit of media work, and then I went in and got the surgery, so I was away with the Ferries, with painkillers and stuff like that, and thinking, just get the knee right. So I had a focus, and then obviously the Dunfermline job come up. But going back to what Ange says to us was that you've got to enjoy winning leagues, but you've just got to enjoy being in football, because he said that, I think it was 13 months, he said, in all his life, he said, since he'd been working in football, he said 13 months out the game, and he says that was the worst 13 months of my life, because he never had anything, and he did say to me, look, I'd have taken a 5-0 defeat any week just to be back in, and it's something, I walked away from that thinking, you know what, he's spot on. I only did have 7 weeks, but it was good, because I was getting to do stuff I'd never really done, like hang about with my kids. Like, my youngest was born when I was a Dundee manager, so it was good to spend time with her. I was out with my pals every week and taking in games, doing stuff for sports, you know, that kind of stuff. Coming on with yous, having a laugh, eating donuts, and it was going to...
that's when you're like, I need to get back in football.
That's when I decided, no, I need back in. So no, but and it's when you go away and you reflect and you think about it and you go, you know what, he's spot on. Like, as bad as the times get, and I've had a few, like I've lost 5-1 in a cup final, I've lost 6-0 at Celtic Park as a manager and a player, a couple of times, I think.
Part of that 6-0 as a player, that was a long night, wasn't it? You were getting the ball, mate, all you could see was the back of my shirt, wasn't it? I wasn't wanting the ball.
I wasn't wanting the ball either. I think it was 6-0 with 20 minutes to go. He's a geary, missed a penalty for his hat trick. That's when I just, get us off. But no, so, and I went away for that, and I thought, you know what, no matter how bad it gets, and I think you've got to take wee bits of advice and those wee nuggets, or whatever the buzzword for them are now, for people like that, because like, he's had a career and he's doing fantastically well at Celtic just now, but his career will not be all plain sailing, and I don't think it will continue to be. But I just thought it was a simple way to put it, that no matter what, no matter how bad things get, we've got to appreciate just that we're in the game.
I seen on your Instagram you met him again recently. How did that
was that time?
That was that time. Mm-hmm. How did that come about? He had the shirt and that on, the suit and that on, didn't he? Again?
No, I look again. It's just, I hate saying it, but like I've no pride really when it comes to. I just want to ask questions. So we were eating while they were eating.
What, Dunfermline and Celtic were in the same restaurant?
Yeah. I don't want to name drop it because it's good name business and.
Go on, because I'll probably get free food out of it. Who was it?
You know where they eat, it's Dakota. So we were there, and they were in, and we're sitting, and I just thought, you know what, I need to go, and if he tells me to piss off, he tells me to piss off. So obviously, you know what it's like with Celtic, they've got security everywhere. So I went to the security guard and just says, look, is there any chance you could, security guard had no idea who I was, any chance you could go and ask the manager if I could have a couple of minutes with him? And he's kind of just looking at me as if,
no chance.
He thought I was a Celtic fan, I think. Yeah. And he says, what's your name? I says, blah, blah, blah. And I had to throw in on the Dunfermline Manager because I'm thinking, I need to tell, I can't just, he'll no go to him if I don't say something.
Yeah.
So, and I did say, look, if he's too busy or if he tells me to piss off, then that's fine, but I've got to at least try it. So a minute later he come back, he says, James, just come along. So I ran along. No, and that was it really. And he came out and he was good enough to give myself and Dave 15-20 minutes each time. And I just, but that's not just him. Like, there's loads of other managers, and it's not just to say I only done that because it was Ange. If Rangers were in that hotel, whoever it was, there's a couple I wouldn't have asked. I think you know who they are. But no, if like any manager, and like Derek McInnes I met the other week as well, he's been fantastic with me. So, but I don't think enough people. I don't know, but I just think when you get the chance to pick these
guys' brains,
you've got to take it. So like, if he'd said no, then I would have accepted it and just thought, well, at least I tried. But no, he was good enough to have a chat with myself and Dave, and he was excellent.
Incredible. Right, on to the league title. What would you say key factors saw you break away by 14 points? You won it, ended up winning it by, because it was tight for a while with you and Falkirk, wasn't it? But like you said, was it that game at Falkirk that you thought you'd win the league?
Oh, it was that game I thought if we don't win the league then I'd be as well as chucking it. No, it was tight. Look, it's Airdrie were there. Edinburgh were there. Done well there. Reece has done fantastic. Been able to play and manage it. I don't know how he does it. And they play some really good stuff. I don't want to have a go at any other Airdrie players, but when we're doing analysis on Airdrie, then a lot of it's focused on Reece, and you're just hoping he decides to be a manager that day. Key factors. Two things really, and I think good players first and foremost, and we've got plenty of them, and hard work. And it's probably a boring answer, and I'd love to come in and say there's this fantastic philosophy, but no, for me it's just about having good players and working really hard, and that's what I've done.
What about the celebrations? I remember the celebrations after Dundee. It was Cummins up on the table. Was it as wild at Dunfermline? Because there is a few characters in there as well.
I think it was just as wild, but I made a conscious decision not to get involved in that time because I can't really remember the Dundee one, so I wanted to remember this one. No, it was great. We won it at home to Queen of the South, and we had a big function in the club that night. Obviously we never get the trophy that day, but no, it was great, and the players went up to, it's a city now, up to the city. And
what's that like for a night out?
Don't know, I've not been. I've only been for food. No, I'm trying to be sensible now, so
do you know anything about the players at all now?
Nah, just in the... Well, they were wanting me to go to Benidorm, they're away to Benidorm the day.
Have you got the fear with it?
No really, Gouser's not there. I've blocked every one of them for phoning me, so it's up to them.
But my fear would be your captain, the one in charge, Benedictus, isn't it?
Well, he's the one that's...
See, quieting down for Dundee, because when we were at Dundee, he was a proper character, wasn't he?
He still is a proper character, but he's been excellent for us. And he's a really good leader. Runs the dressing room, it's another thing. We just keep out the road, and the dressing room is mad. And again, I go back, mad in a good way, like they're so together, but I go back and it wasn't even because we've won a few games. I can remember like during pre-season and the music's blaring and I'm saying to Dave, what have we actually got here? Like, this group isn't
right?
Aye, I'm going, oh. But then that's carried on throughout the season, and I think that's the other thing you see when I say about the good players and hard work. But the togetherness at the full football club has been brilliant, and again that's credit to all the staff, the board, the players and everyone, because I don't know, and it's not, and I've got to say that it's not just because we won a few games. It was mad, honestly. And even after doing hard running and whatever, the boombox is gone and they're all jumping about the dressing room, I have to send them home on Fridays at 4 o'clock because they're playing darts and
just hanging about with each other.
Aye, they love it, and that's something I certainly think that's helped this season as well. But no, going back to Benny, I just hope
he loves himself as well, doesn't he? Thinks he's gorgeous.
Nah, to be fair,
he's got a bit, isn't he?
Aye,
he has got a bit.
Nah, he's all right.
Are you already thinking about next year, or can you actually take about knowing the type of guy you are? Your mind's firmly on next year already.
It has been from, and again, this is going back to probably the experience at Dundee where I was. And that's a credit to the board because I think I said this on the last interview we done, but I took a bit of a risk when they came to the house and met me, and I had to be open and honest, and I says, look, at Dundee I would be staying up there 3 nights a week and staying in the club till whatever time, 5 o'clock, doing nothing really, you just feel...
Just because you felt like you had to?
Well, when I say doing nothing, but you'd be still planning wee bits and pieces and making sure everything was alright, but nothing.
On the pants with Tommy?
Aye, doing that, wee bits and pieces like that, but that's what ended up happening, you just be carrying on, so, and you had that in like, the time away for the family, and I missed out a lot on, particularly Grace, being the youngest and not seeing stuff like that, so when I did lose my job and speaking to people and reflecting on it a wee bit, I told the board when they came to the house that they asked me what my plans were and how I seen it going forward, and I says, look, the one thing I must say and just lay my cards on the table is that I'll work as hard as I can, and the quality of work will hopefully be as good or good, whatever people want to class it as, but I can't spend as much time at the football club. I've got a family, a young family, I need to be away, and that's one of the things that, to be fair, they accepted that, and I think Thomas Meggle, he played for St Pauli, he was a manager at St Pauli, sporting director at St Pauli, so he's had a fantastic career in football, and he kind of understood that in particular, and I think his words at the time were, no, I think that's a great way of looking at it, so I have changed in that respect. I got away a bit earlier. It's not to say I do less work, I don't, I probably do more work, and I would say better work because I'm fresher. The work for next season started when we got the job last year.
How is that working with, so what's he, like a technical director type?
Yeah, I don't know what his job title is, but he's fantastic. Like, he's over once a month, say, I speak to him a couple of times a week on the phone, have a video call on a Friday night, just going over the team and stuff like that. And at the start, because it was new to me, you're thinking, I don't know how this will work, I don't know. But he's excellent, as are all the board, but Thomas is excellent in terms of like just his knowledge of the game, and as I say, not once has he told me
what team to pick,
or you should play it in a different way. He gives bits of advice, but I think myself and Dave would be mad not to listen to it with the career he's had. So no, it's fantastic. I was actually on a Zoom with him today as well, so that shows the planning's ongoing, and I'll keep working for the rest of this month anyway. And then the other thing, I'm going to go away on holiday, and the 4th of June I'm going away, and I've already said, look, I'll be available for a couple of hours a day, then my phone's staying in the room, because again, it's something I've never done, and it maybe no work, but if somebody's needing somebody, they can just phone Dave and he can do it.
So what's a typical day now? Back in the house for 2:30?
Oh, well, I wish.
No,
maybe leaving the club about 2:30.
Right.
3 o'clock, just whenever things are done. Fridays are a lot shorter. And again, look, I'm no embarrassed to say it, because I don't think it changes the way I work. I can do as much as I want from the house as well, but I like to go and maybe get the kids for school on a Friday, so I'll be away, stuff like that.
Do you think that makes you a better manager, mate, when you get that kind of work-home life balance better?
Well, I do, and it's easy to sit and say it now when you've lost one game in a league, but I take away even results and stuff like that, and I just feel in terms of your mood, the way you approach training, probably the best person to ask would be Gowser, because he's seen me at 2 clubs, and I'm not saying my coaching's better or anything like that, but I just feel I'm fresher in the mornings. But see, to be fair, I'm not annoyed that it happened like that at Dundee, because I had to learn. And for some people, and I hear a lot of managers, and it is their life, and it is my life as well, obviously. But it's that they're in from 7 in the morning to 8 at night, and I've got nothing against that. That's just their way of working and that works for them. But for me, I feel it's better when I do my work and I get home to the kids.
You've not got the 3 girls in a back 3 like working on.
Sometimes, see that's the downside of it. And Don's a Craig White, and so we think boys up to her, and she's like, he's chesting it and it's bouncing away over there and all that. But no.
Did they come? How was that for you? With your girls being on the pitch? I've seen that on your Instagram as well. The girls on the pitch.
Amazing. Like that was my favourite part, and I genuinely mean that. They missed that at Dundee because it was a COVID season, but they love coming to their every home game. They're desperate. The 2 older ones are desperate to go to every away game, but just with the stick, and I'm thinking if we lose a goal, I'm just going to get hammered anyway. So they're still too young to hear that. I'll wait a couple of years.
Up the back of supporters bus with a bottle of bucky in it.
Well, I think they're a few years out for Coat Bridge, so they're a few years away from that.
I always said this, I think I've said it on the podcast, but I loved playing at East End Park, mate. And you actually, I don't think people realise how big a club Dunfermline is. Were you surprised yourself at just how big the club was? Well, what was that? There was a games at full house, wasn't it? Was that again the Falkirk game?
Falkirk game, yeah.
Atmosphere incredible.
We could have had there were a problem with a section, the toilets in a section of the stand, or it would have been a complete full house. But that game was the biggest crowd in a decade at East End Park, and the last time, the one that was bigger was when Rangers were in the Championship or League One. I can't remember when they were coming back up. So that was a great night, and fair play to Falkirk as well. They brought 3,000 away fans like we've done when we went to their place. So their games are great. But no, I was surprised because you know what it's like. You walk in, you go down at East End, you go down the stairs into the away dressing room, and that's all you really see. But when I went up to have a look about the day that I got the job, and it was a wee bit annoying because I was in a straight knee brace and crutches, and they were wanting to show me everything. But the gym, just the facilities, the food, all the stuff, it's fantastic. But in terms of a big club, like, people can say that, but I think what we've also you've got to put it into perspective. We were in League One for a reason. We weren't good enough in the Championship. We're now in the Championship, and we've got to prove that we're a good enough team to stay in the Championship and stay away from the big club stuff, because you're only that when you do it and you prove it.
So is that the aim next year then, just to stay up?
It is at the minute, yeah. It's I think it's got to be, and the Dunfermline fans will probably hate me for saying that, but the first objective is to get into the Championship. That's done now, and to be fair to the board, it was never it had to be this year either.
Really, yeah?
Yeah, which for me was...
Does that make your job easier?
I don't know, because internally you're getting into Dunfermline in League One, and you're thinking, if I don't get this club up, then how's it going to look? But then the more you play teams and you see just how good teams can be in that league, and I think it's
a good league.
It has. It's been so competitive this year, and obviously I've watched it throughout the years, but I hope I'm not offending anyone, but I think this year has been as competitive as it's been for a while. Like, as I say, with Airdrie, Falkirk, Alloa, Edinburgh for a spell where Edinburgh went and beat Airdrie 6-0, like, and then I don't know what the other scores were as well, but there's a lot of good teams in it. Kelty had come up and done well, so it's been a very decent league. But I think next year, and it is the first objective is just stay in the league, and then see what happens after that.
Because I've seen a lot of people as well saying about Dunfermline, they should be, but when you actually, it's not like you've went and bought the league or that, because when you look at your squad, there's been times where you've had 3 players on the bench. Yeah,
no, and again that was our decision as well. That the money was there to go.
In terms of what, because did you get more players on kind of higher money, and so more quality and less quantity?
No, like at the start we could have come in and get rid of 10 and sign 10. Like the board were backing us to do, kind of go in and do it our way, but we had a look at the squad. Obviously I knew a lot of them because I had managed in that league against most of those players. I had played with some of the players. We only made 3 permanent signings: Benedictus, Hamilton and Max Little, who's our number 2 goalkeeper at the minute. We were very good in the loan market. The loan players that come in have been excellent for us, which is something we're going to need to address. But no, I was confident in the squad when we went in, and then the more you work with them, and you know what it's like, you get to the end of the transfer window, then it opens the loan window up, but we were looking and going, no, this squad, we've got a good team here. We just need to get them right and get them going. So, no, there were money there to spend, but what we didn't want to do was just bring players in for the sake of it.
Because there was no real big name signings, was there? I think quite a lot of people expected you to go and get kind of a bigger name like a Griffiths or that type because you'd worked with him previously, but it was all kind of younger boys that were hungry and desperate to go higher.
Yeah, and I think that's worked for us. Like a lot of boys that had come through the academy, like Lewis McCann, Matty Todd, Josh Edwards is young, albeit he's not came through the academy. Paul Allen, there's players in there that have been at the club for a while that had experienced that hurt going down. Graham Dorrans was the big name when we went in, but Graham unfortunately picked up an injury and decided to leave. So he was the one, and we were disappointed when Graham left because obviously I know him very well, I know how good a player he is. So he could have helped us, but then when he left, then you just move on from that. So no, we didn't feel the need to, and I'll be honest, we didn't want to. We wanted to work with, after maybe 3 or 4 weeks, we wanted to work with the squad we had without disrupting it too much. And then getting the loans in, like Chris Mockery came in for Dundee United, was excellent.
Very quick.
Kane Richie Hosler, who from Rangers came in, was excellent. Sam Fisher, another one I had at Dundee, who came in, he's just won two leagues in a week, and I think he's partied every day since.
Good lad.
I know, brilliant. He's a bit Benidorm as well, so.
Is he the Dunfermline member?
Aye. Obviously Gowser comes in later on, Ewan Otto for Celtic, who's fantastic.
Left-back.
I hope I've not missed anybody out of the loan players, but Robbie Mann, who a young lad for
Bobby Mann?
Bobby Mann, aye. No, we signed him just for cover in case Benny. He's probably still quicker. He's probably still quicker than Benny as well. Robbie Mann for Motherwell come in, and he's the one I feel sorry for because his game time wasn't as much as the other loan players, but every day in training he was excellent. He fitted right into the group, and that helped us. It helped with the loan players coming in and really fitting into what the group and taking to the group. And I don't think they're all away, apart from 1 or 2. They've got family commitments at the end of season holiday, so stuff like that make me pleased as well. Yeah.
How did you actually get the Dunfermline job? You said earlier, was it 7 weeks you had it? So what happens? Have you got an agent? Are you sitting in the house, your agent phones, or is it just Dunfermline contact you straight away? Did you apply for the job? Talk us through it.
No, well, I was sitting at 7 weeks. I couldn't get the surgery because I had COVID. So I just done my own thing for 7 weeks. I told you before I did have 2 offers that I wasn't ready to go back in.
Scotland?
Yeah. I wasn't ready to go back in. Got the surgery, and then probably got the surgery start April, and then mid-May I got a message for the chairman at Dunfermline would I be willing to speak to him, and thinking I need to tell Dawn I've got this message, but I know what she's going to say.
She wouldn't have wanted you to go back in that quick?
I was recovering for the surgery. We had promised, I hadn't been on holiday for about 3 years either, so everything was planned to go on holiday, but because it was Dunfermline, and I'm not just saying that, but because it was, I thought, no, I need to speak to them. And again, it shows a bit of humility, or it shows how good they are. Because I says, right, I'll get a lift. I explained I was in a straight leg knee brace, crutches, whatever. It was just so many weeks post-op. So, and he says, no, they'll come to the house. And I'm like, this is a nightmare.
Better get the house clean.
I donned it.
Shite off that toilet.
Aye, no. We'd shut a toilet. The one I was using, we had to kid on, it was broke. It was stinking. No, and David Cook, the chairman, Thomas and Nick, who are both part of the investment group that own the club, they came to the house, and we just had a chat and spoke about. They told me what they were looking for. I told them probably the first one, I told them just what I'd done at Dundee and bringing the younger players through, all that kind of stuff, and that's when I says, look, about I can't be there all day every day. I need to get the balance right and stuff like that. And when they walked out, I think I've maybe messed this up.
Did you think that?
In a way, but then if that would have happened, that'd have been fine, because at least I was being honest and saying, because I wasn't going to say, well, if you're looking for somebody that'll be in it that time and can do all this, but I just felt for me to be a better manager, I had to change a few things, and so I told them that, and then that night I got another phone call saying, look, can we come back out a couple of days later, just for another chat, Right, need to get this tidied again, get that toilet locked again. I don't even think we could get a plumber in time. So, and that's just how bad it was. Like, Dawn was away out and I couldn't even make coffee just because I was on crutches. So like we had
to make that in?
No, we had to organise coffee to get delivered. So I must have thought, who's this guy? I think he is. Like, and I'm saying to the, excuse me, could you answer the door and go and get the coffee? Like to the owners and the chairman. So fair play, they done that. I would have ran a mile if that was me. For me, and says, nah, he's not the right guy for us. But no, they come back a couple of days later and says, we would like to offer you the job.
Was that your first sort of, not an interview, but was that the first time you'd properly sat down with an owner and a chairman? Or did you do that at Dundee?
I've done it at Dundee.
You get nervous for stuff like that?
I did, to be fair, aye. It's I think the experience helped of having done the Dundee one. And then, I don't know if I got nervous in terms of the Dunfermline one. Probably I was nervous after the first one, thinking, what have I done here? If I've been too honest here or whatever. But in the end, it was honesty they wanted, and they come back and they just says, we want to offer you the job and we'll be in touch with the terms and stuff. We'd be delighted if you could be the manager of our football club. And like, for somebody that had a straight leg knee brace and crutches on, when they walked out the door, I was dancing about the living room and he wasn't even so up.
And you just phoned Don straight away?
Aye. Just Don, my brother, people like that, and says, aye, I've got the job. And you could hear the sighs down the phone. Like,
here we go,
you're going back in. I said, no, it'll be different this time, and I don't know if they all believe me, but certainly now. And
so did she get that holiday?
No, she never got it. Well, she
I'll
took,
take her away.
Take her. As long as the kids go with you.
Go ahead, no, fuck that. So she's still not been there, so this will be your first holiday?
No, I think she took the kids with her mum and dad at Easter, the October holidays, so that they've been away, but
this will be your first family one for 4 years?
Aye, coming up in 4 years, aye.
And does that make you a wee bit sad? Or?
It does. No, genuinely, and that was one of the reasons why, not just the holidays, but that was one of the reasons why I had to be honest, because when you've got the time, I suppose, and you're waking up every morning with the kids being there and thereabouts, because I was out the door before they were even up, and sometimes I was back in and they were in bed. So when you see it day to day and they're there all the time, it makes you a bit annoyed at yourself. So, no, look, as soon as we knew what was happening, we weren't in the playoffs, it was just a case of, let's go and get something booked and we'll get away and get the phone switched off, and if anybody needs me, then phone Dave.
Brilliant. Did you expect it to be longer than 7 weeks? When you first came out of the Dundee job?
It was 3 months, you keep getting this, I had COVID.
It's 7 weeks, sorry, 3 months. Did you expect it to be longer than 3 months?
I probably hoped it would be,
right,
as well.
But just Dunfermline was just too good an opportunity to turn down?
And that, I'm not just saying that sitting here as a Dunfermline manager, I said it in the first interview I done as well.
Was there no previous advice you received from Walter Smith as well?
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Well, that was everyone on the pro licence who come on, he was excellent. They all come on and it's great, they do like presentations and slides, but Walter come on and just says, look, I'm not into all that, and I'm just going to keep it simple. But for me, it was the best speaker, or one of the best speakers anyway, and it was just kind of go with your gut feeling. And going back to the Dunfermline job, that was that really. I said this a couple of weeks ago, that it popped into my head at the time when I'm thinking, is it right, is it not right? And I just thought, I've got to go with my gut. And having had that advice, as had everyone on that pro licence course had it from Walter, and he says, if you don't know whether it's a sub, whether it's a job, whatever it is, just go with your gut feeling, and then at least you'll know how the regrets. So my gut feeling was telling me take the Dunfermline job, and thankfully I did.
Did you speak to any other managers before you made your decision, or was it purely yourself?
I spoke to a few people and just said, what would you do? And it was unanimous really. Everybody's saying, oh, get back in, you could be out for, you don't know how long you'll be out for, you might never get back in. So it didn't go in too much into reason why I wasn't sure about getting back in. And I'm not sitting here saying I would have got another job and whenever, I might never have got back in. That's just the way football works. But I think when it was that one, then, to be honest, my mind was made up anyway, and sometimes you just need that wee bit of advice for someone and that bit of reassurance, and I certainly got that. But no, it's proved to be the right decision. And
you said about the time in terms of being at the football club, being at home, is there anything else that you wanted to change for your time at Dundee?
not to be as angry. That was one, and that's another one you can ask Gouser, and I've had to work quite hard on that.
Have you done anything to like psychologists or?
I spoke to a few people. Again, I'll be honest, yeah, and I think most managers do as well. It's just a pity I can't afford the people that they can afford. No, and you get the chance to speak to other managers about that as well, and that was one of the questions that I put to the Celtic manager, was how can you be so calm and stuff like that. So I'm still trying to be. It's just a pity my backroom staff they're all mental. Dave said that.
I remember David Stirling Albion on the side when I was at Peterhead.
He said, so we've had 2 red cards all season, and it was in the one game against Airdrie. It was just a couple of games ago. That was our first red cards of the season, but Dave said more red cards and bookings than MD. So like, while I'm pretty calm, he's the one that's, so at least we're
changing a
role reversal a wee bit.
So how have you managed to stay a wee bit more calmer? Is there something that you do?
I don't know if it's just the reflecting time and just going away, because I go back to Derek McInnes and he'll be fed up with me talking about him now because I keep bringing that name up as well. But when he called me after I lost my job, he says, look, get out, face people, you done a good job, all that stuff, but go and write down everything you done well, write down the stuff you didn't do well. You don't need to show it to people, but you need to be honest. And everything that was popping up was just shouting at people when they made a mistake. And you knew me as a player, I wasn't like that. Like, I
never made a mistake, so I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't. Gouser does. He made plenty. But he would shout at me even though he made a mistake. I shouted at you.
Just be used to shouting at each other, I'd just be standing laughing, mate.
So like, as much as I would come in and have a say as a player, I was never the way I was, and I don't know if it was the pressure or just your first job, you feel you need to, I don't know, but I certainly feel I'm a bit more level-headed now, and you need to keep a lid on it at times, but you've also maybe just a realisation that the players are just human beings as well. We're all going to make mistakes, and if it's an honest one, and all we really say is, see, as long as you're working hard and trying the right thing, then we'll back you, and if that doesn't work and you're trying the right thing and you make a mistake and I'm in a mood, then I'll have a go, but I'll phone you up later on at night and apologise. I don't know.
Is that maybe where you've got better apology afterwards? Maybe at Dundee where it would have just been fly off a hand or no say, and then you didn't see them again till Monday? No,
to be fair, there were a couple at Dundee that by the time I got home on the Saturday night I knew I was wrong and had to. One in particular with Lee Ashcroft, who I've got so much respect for, and Ashy will remember the one, and the full way driving down the road, I just knew I was wrong and I couldn't leave it. Like, for a couple of days, I couldn't leave it to the Monday, as you said. So I had to phone him and speak to him. And thankfully, he's a good man and he accepted it. But no, I don't think there's not been many where I've had to apologise this season to the players for going mad. It's just been, because I've not went mad that much.
Because I think you were watching my documentary, and I remember you messaged me quite early on, do you remember? Because I think I was apologising or something. He's like, didn't I apologise for that? Just, was it what I was saying, just going in and being reactive?
Aye.
You said sometimes that's a good thing.
Well, again, and I hate name drop again, but that part of that conversation with Ange the other week when I says, how do you be so calm? His answer, and I hope he'll never speak to me again.
No, you'll not mind.
But you can ask him this, because this is what he said, you speak to him more than me, but he says, well, that's just the way I am. Like, it might be the Australian in me. He says, but what I will say is, if it's not really affecting how you manage or whatever, don't change too much. Don't try and be somebody different. And that's kind of what I was meaning with you. That's just your reaction, your emotion at the time. And see, to be fair, to put a bit of perspective into that conversation, Dave listened to that as well, that exact conversation, and he was part of it with me, him and Ange. And that day we were playing Airdrie and he got sent off. So
he's not listening to a fucking word.
Not really was.
No, he is, because he just
that was his first words when I came into the dressing room after the game. That was his fault. That was Ange's fault, because
he told us to be this.
He told me to be myself. So no, and I thought that's good as well. But I think when it becomes a problem and it's every week, and I've seen managers like that, and I was probably getting to that point where it was every week, and it might be the pressure. We were in a relegation fight in the Premiership, so every week was I coming in and being too harsh, maybe. I don't know, but I think the reason I messaged you is because I thought what you were saying was right, and you were going in, you were being reactive, your emotions were high, but your points were good. I think until as long as you can keep it like that and no cross a line, then I think there's nothing wrong with it.
But when you look back on your time in Dundee, would you have done anything different, or are you happy that you were the way you were because it's now made you the manager that you are?
Yeah, no, look, I've no regrets about it. The way it was my first job as a manager.
Big job for your first job as well, mate, innit?
It was a tough one, particularly the club had been relegated, and then COVID came in as well, which hampered us a little. Look, we were doing well that season, and then due to COVID hitting, credit to the players, they all took the wage cuts, they took the stuff, but on top of that, and rightly so, they got extra years added onto their contract. So the next season we then get promoted, and we were going into the Premiership with the same squad that got us out the Championship without having much room to bring people in. So that was tough, and that's not to say I would have got rid of loads and loads of players, far from it, but it would have been better had we had what we've got at Dunfermline at the minute, where we can add quality to it, but that wasn't really the case. So we went into the Premiership probably with a squad that wasn't really ready, but still did compete in the Premiership. Like when I lost my job, we were 2 points clear of St Johnstone, who eventually stayed up under Callum and in the playoffs. So look, hindsight's a great thing. I'd have backed myself to, and the staff and that group of players, to stay in the division that year. Whether it been through the playoffs, I don't know, but 2 points ahead of them with a game in hand, I'm sure. So the game in hand was in Ross County, so we could have overtook them. I can't quite remember, my head's that fuzzy with it on now, but no, look, I don't think there's a point in looking back and saying I would have changed it. What I've done is I've reflected on it and decided on the things that I would rather not do again, and I think that's what's hopefully making me a better manager and person.
And just lastly, I know you said about staying up, but when you look at like Queen's Park, who went into the league, is it possible for you to be up there next year? Have you got your recruitment right?
If we get to the points total that keep us in the league first, then we'll have a look at that. But no, look, what a season they've had. And on the flip side, you look at Cove, they won the league at a canter last year, and then they've struggled this season. So you've got to be wary of that as well. But no, look, we're confident in the squad we've got. We will add to it. How do you go about recruitment? Is it just players that you've kind of seen that you like, or is there other people that watch players for you? No, we've actually got a good setup at Dunfermline, really. With Big Monty, he was there the first day. He worked with John Hughes there as well, and he's like chief scout, but he's like Tommy. He does everything apart from the smelling pants. But he's a massive part of what we do, and he heads up kind of the recruitment team, and then obviously Thomas in Germany is a massive part of that as well. So it's a really good process that we do, and I don't know, it's different. I'm not saying it's better than Dundee's or it's whatever, but it's just a different way of doing it, and the squad planning and stuff like that. So that has been going on since last summer, and as I say, I was on a Zoom today about it as well. So the target's in mind, and no, it's not just players that I watch, because to be honest, I'm all out for watching football this season. So you're relying a lot on your staff, on the owners, and on the recruitment team, and then when those players do come, you eventually, as a manager and the chairman, then the owner and Dave, we kind of have the final say on it and what we're trying to do. So no, it's been really good. It's open, it's honest, and we'll all agree that player can help our football club, or maybe he can't. Last thing, and I'm sure everyone in Scotland want to know this, what is Paul McGowan's new hair regime? Talk us through it. Well, what's he using on it? I don't know, but it's looking great, isn't it? I asked him if he can get me a number for the person, because mine's is fading away, and I'm devastated. I got it back when I got injured a few years ago. And did you ever think he'd have better hair than you? No, and that's what's killing me. Like, honestly, like now, even when my family see me with Gowser, and I've had this a couple of times, and they're saying it's the first time I've ever seen Gowser with better hair than you. Even when I had a baldy, and that's hard. It's heartbreaking, actually. Like, does he gel it? No, I don't get why. I think he maybe blow dries it for him. Because when he turned up at that play, he was looking brilliant at that Player of the Year awards. Honestly, he could have been at the Oscars that night. Probably started crawling about the flare like a dog and barking. But that's Gowser. No, his hair's brilliant, and if he watches this, then maybe you could talk him into maybe sending me the number, because he's refusing to give me it because he doesn't want me to have better hair than him, because it's the one thing he's got that he can.
He's got over you.
Because remember I made him
you suit the baldy. I like you with the baldy with the beard.
I know, but that was maybe alright when I played and I was thin. My cheeks are getting a bit fat.
No, you're still decent. And how's the knee?
Alright.
It's been through the wars, hasn't it?
It has. It's alright. That's why I'm glad we're sitting behind this table, because I've got one leg that's quite alright and one that's
fucked.
Skinny.
Can you still join in that now?
I do the boxes a wee bit.
How are you in the boxes?
I'm actually quite good.
Are you, mate?
Aye.
You've got better then?
I've got better, aye. I don't know, probably needed a bad knee all the years ago.
Cheers, mate. Pete, what a man.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.